Hey guys, what's going on? Bubba's here. We got the patch notes today. Gonna go over them. I've already read through them a little bit. Looks like some good stuff coming. Um, so yeah, if you don't know, probably later today or tomorrow, I'll be uploading my video of what I'm going to play. I think I have, after reading the patch notes, I have a good idea of what I want to play. I just want to do a little research first to make sure it's going to be good. And yeah, so look for that later on. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you get notified as soon as that video goes live, because I'll be showing what I'm going to be playing and probably throwing another few builds that I think that'll be good for starting off in the new league. So let's jump right into the patch notes here. We got the Bestiary Challenge League. So it's whether you're in standard, hardcore, we know all that stuff. Bestiary lets you hunt and capture hundreds of deadly beasts across Rayclast, and then craft valuable new items with the help of the NPC Einar Frey. To capture a monster, highlight it and press V to throw a net. If the capture fails, the beast will enrage and become more dangerous. The lower life a beast has, the easier it is to capture. So it's pretty much Pokemon. I mean, that's pretty much it. Nets can be found in the world or purchased from Einhar. Better nets make capturing harder beasts easier. So it is like Pokemon. Once captured, each beast is tracked in your very own bestiary, a tomb full of information and pictures. Each captured beast is kept in your menagerie, which you can visit by talking to Einhar once you have enough beasts captured. You can use the blood altar in your menagerie to sacrifice the beast for beast crafting. We've already seen some of that in the videos. So we recommend capturing most rare beasts that you encounter. You can now also hunt for elusive spirit beasts who drop pieces of 4 new unique item sets. If you somehow manage to capture one, these spirit beasts can be used in beast crafting. So you can also capture the spirit beasts as well as getting them to drop their unique items. The new challenge leagues include a set of 40 new challenges. When you complete 12, we already know all this stuff. We get the helmet, we get the wings, and then we get the portal effect. And then, of course, you get the little totems from the 19th challenge reward on. Major new content and features. Added 2 new active skill gems and 1 new support gem. Dexterity, strength, spectral throw. There's a spectral copy of your shield. It cannot pierce, but it deals damage augmented by your defenses on the shield. So we've already seen that a bit. That looks cool. I wouldn't mind trying that out. I'm probably going to try out this one too, the Tectonic Slam. It sounds cool. It's a strength gem. Slam the ground with your weapon, unleashing a fiery fissure in front of you, dealing area damage and releasing a random number of smaller fissures breaching from it. If you have endurance charges, 1 will be consumed. Maximizing the number of fissures requires a mace, sword, axe, staff, or unarmed. Added a new support gem, the Summon Phantasm on kill. This one sounds cool. You can actually add it to your minions, and when your minions attack, then the Phantasm has a chance of being spawned on the killing blow. So you can add that to supported skills or minions. So that'll be kind of cool. Then we have Abyss being added to the core game. So that's pretty cool. There's an actual Abyss section below. Introduce the final Elder encounter. We already heard about that. This in-game encounter is the single most difficult challenge Path of Exile currently has to offer. Good luck. I would imagine it would be pretty difficult. That's like the new in-game now. Shaper's just like a step to get to this, I guess. Added the Elder Orb, obtainable after collecting all the Shaper's memory fragments. The Elder Orb can upgrade any map on your atlas to tier 16. That's crazy. Just any map, tier 16, you're good to go. That's pretty cool. Added 27 new unique items, 16 of which are exclusive to the Bestiary Challenge League, and added 27 new Fated Unique Prophecies. That's pretty cool, because I kind of like the Fated Uniques. I think it's a really cool idea to kind of upgrade some lower unique items. It's pretty cool, I think. Added a new quest, Valenta's Vengeance. Valenta has sided with Kitava and must be dealt with. Seek her out in Act 10 and defeat her for a skill point. Of course, existing characters who have already completed the quest map to Teotha or whatever it is, you'll already have that. Instead, you'll be able to get the new reward from completing the Terror of Tesotha quest. Added a new Act 10 area, the control blocks. Could this be where Valenta has been hiding out this whole time? Wow, we should have checked there before, guys. Added 10 new divination cards designed by supporters. Enabled that rogue exile we said we added last time, but this time we really mean it. Or do we? Good old Path of Exile. Added 2-ish vendor recipes. Added 6 new Grandmasters and updated or replaced 5 others. Okay. Minor new content and features. The Witch can now select Lesser Poison as a quest reward. The Shadow is no longer offered Lesser Poison support as a quest reward, and is offered Elemental Proliferation instead, since he should already have it. Yeah. Unique items drop by bosses in special areas such as the Apex of Sacrifice, the Shaper's Realm, and Breach Domains are now allocated to the area's creator. So no matter what, if you do one of those maps, you automatically get it if you're the person that created it. So this also applies to blessings dropped by Breach Lords. So that'll be kind of cool. I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of people will farm the Breach Lords, and they'll bring like leechers along to leech XP. So I guess this protects them a little bit from people actually popping in and grabbing the stuff, because you know there's idiots out there that just try to do stuff like that. But that's also cool, because it's like, hey, if you know somebody wants a Shaper kill or something like that for a quest or something, they're not stealing your drops. So that's pretty cool. Added 3D art for Debion's Dirge. Characters deleted during an event such as a race, are there going to be actual races now, are no longer removed from the ladder and can still be awarded prizes. Made improvements to Xana's Atlas quest line, in particular to the sequence featuring the Shaper and Elder. And now completing Xana's Atlas quest now grants Xana experience. It's easier to reach level 8 with her now. That's good. When you use your stash, the in-game chest now opens. It's like you're really there. That's kind of cool. Just some new little stash art. The patcher now does significantly fewer writes during the allocating space part of the patching process. Updated several vendor recipes to now output shaped or elder items if all the input items were also shaped or elder. So you put in a bunch of shaper items, you get a shaped item. Put in a bunch of elder items, you get an elder item. So that could be useful. Improved achievement checking functionality in cases where the achievement server can't be reached. Streamlined Xana's Take Shaper Orb dialogue options. Now the one option handles all available orbs. Added support for using Harbinger orbs, and Horizon orbs on the most recent map series. Improved the appearance of metal throughout the game. That's kind of cool. More skills can now burn the grass. Alright. The Purifier has received new skill effects for its sword creating projectile skills. Glacial Cascade's effect now fades out rather than popping out. The Dancing Dervish now carries across any cosmetic effects applied to it when it's manifested. Players with accounts created through Steam can now associate an email address. Slightly improved performance in the Hall of Grandmasters. Improve the visibility on the atlas of uncompleted maps that are under the Elder's influence. The map device in the Templar's laboratory now has an awesome new effect. Many story glyphs, such as Malachi's letter to Chevron in the Warden's Chamber, have had their visuals updated to be slightly more eye-catching. DPS calculations now take whether or not a particular weapon will actually be used, such as when dual-wielding two different weapon types, one of which cannot be used by the skill you are using into the consideration. This doesn't change your actual damage at all, but it does now provide a more accurate tooltip. Okay. Improve the way Sire of Shards works with weapon effects. Storm Barrier now clearly states that it does not support minion skills. Added new help panel pages, oh boy. Continued to incrementally improve the sound, art, effects, and environments. Nice. So now the Abyss changes. So Abyss has been rolled into the core game. Abyss is in the world from part 2 onwards, and each area has about a 10% chance to spawn an Abyss. So once you hit part 2, you should start seeing Abysses 10% of the time. And Abyssal Depths can no longer appear in areas below level 70. So to get those sweet Abyssal Depths, hopefully they spawn more often though after level 70. That'd be nice. Stygian Vice Belts can now only be found by completing an Abyssal Depths area. The various Abyss Jewel base types can now be found from hordes in the Abyssal Depths, and Abyss Troves from completing the Abyss. You are less likely to find rare Abyss Jewels, so no more billions of Abyss Jewels laying around. A new Sextant mod has been added, which grants an additional Abyss. Character balance. Player traps now explode at the end of their duration, triggering their skills. The exceptions to this are Bear Trap and Conversion Trap, which still break at the end of their duration. So, following trap skills have had their base duration lowered to 4 from 16. Fire Trap, Ice Trap, Lightning Trap, Ball Lightning Trap, Trap Support. Each of these traps will now trigger at the end of its duration. Trap skills have had their base duration lowered to 8 seconds from 16. Bear Trap, Conversion Trap. Minion damage has been adjusted, and all minion types except Raging Spirits will now attack more quickly. That would be insane if Raging Spirits attack more quickly. But they deal less damage, less base damage. This also fixes a long-standing issue where added damage would only apply in part to most minions. So many minions will also get up to 50% more damage from sources of added damage. Sources of increased attack speed for your minions will now be correctly multiplicative with their new base attack speed. The slam skill used by Ray Zombie can no longer be evaded. That's nice. Volley and Projectile Nova now interact by creating projectile sources to either side of the player based on the number of projectiles. So if you have like 4 added projectiles, you'll have like 2 on each side of you pop out. Dividing those projectiles among those sources, and then each of those sources firing their projectiles in a nova. That's pretty cool. So that'll be some mass AoE if you put those two together. Shrapnel Shot now converts 50% of physical to lightning damage, up from 40%. Herald of Ash now provides more spell fire damage and can trigger the overkill burn from spells. So maybe use Herald of Ash now for your spells. Item balance. Many divination cards have had their drop weightings and locations adjusted. You should now find a better variety of cards throughout areas introduced in the Fall of Oriath. Some maps which had several high-value cards have had some of those cards moved elsewhere. More looking around to try to find cards, I guess. The Dying Anguish divination card can no longer reward gems with a maximum level lower than 20 or Vol gems. Skill gems which previously had the cast tag now have the spell tag. Spells which are spells but do not benefit from increases to spell damage now say so in the description. This has no impact on gameplay. Unique item balance. The Strange Barrel unique strongbox encounter has been reworked. It still doesn't contain swarms of things, but if it did, those swarms would spawn more quickly. So, yeah. Shroud of the Lightless can no longer drop with 2 abyssal sockets. I wonder if it can be rolled to 2 abyssal sockets, though. Projectiles from the Light Poacher helmet triggered skill Spirit Burst no longer always pierce. They travel 50% slower, which also affects the distance they travel. Their damage has been reduced by 25%. This affects all versions of the Light Poacher. Sorry to all you people that got a bunch of Light Poachers. The Light Poacher's gonna suck now. It'll probably still be okay, probably. Zeref's Last Breath now recovers life over 4 seconds instead of instantly, and it now heals you for 450 to 600% of the mana cost, down from 800%. Divining existing versions of the Last Breath will set it to these values. And of course, Bisco's Collar, Rip Bisco's Collar, 35 to 50, down from 50 to 100. So existing versions will become legacy. So using a Divine Orb will set the existing versions to the new values. Oh. So if you have a legacy Biscos, you're in the money. They're going to go for so much now, even though it's probably because there is diminishing returns. So there's probably not actually a huge boost from having 100% to a 50%, but you know, every little bit does help, so those will probably still go for crazy and standard. Doriani's Fist now clarifies that the added lightning damage specifically applies to unarmed attacks. Any attack with a hand, yeah, we know what an unarmed attack is. This means it will not apply to Spectral Shield Throw, as a skill uses a hand that has to be holding a shield. The Onigarashi drop chance has been adjusted, and by adjusted we mean lowered a lot. Sunblast no longer causes traps to trigger when they expire, and now has a base property of almost all traps. So yeah, people are going to be crying about that, because so many people have been like, oh man, I farmed for like 12 hours and can't get this thing. You know, I don't know if those people are doing something wrong, because I got like 10 or 12 Onigarashis last season. And yeah, like it was pretty easy to farm them up, so I don't know what people are doing. I farmed like four I think in solo self-found even, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what people were doing, but now it's going to be a lot harder to get. So, and plus I think the Hillock fight's going to be different. Hopefully they added something about that later on. Monster balance. The damage increase from a monster's rarity has been made multiplicative with other damage modifiers. This means, for example, that a map mod that increases a boss's damage will be significantly more noticeable. Most, but not all, sources of increased damage, we already heard about all this, have had their values adjusted to compensate. Be careful when fighting unique monsters, especially in mod-heavy maps. The following monsters are no longer immune to taunt. This right here is what's going to really make me want to play champion at the start of this season. I was already wanting to play champion anyway. The following monsters are no longer immune to taunt, though they may not retarget based on being taunted. So basically, what I was wanting to play was a War Chief Totem build, and I made one last season that was Berserker, Marauder Berserker, but I was thinking about making a champion because I really like champion because of the permanent fortify, and I just really wanted to play duelist, and I didn't want to play Slayer again because I've played Slayer so much that I'm just kind of getting tired of Slayer. So I was like, hey, maybe I'll go champion and go dual War Chief Totem with it, which I have to do a little bit of research to make sure that's going to be good, but it looks like it will be. So basically, you'll taunt your totems will taunt stuff, and even though these monsters won't like target them, like the Shaper and stuff won't actually target your totems instead of you, you'll get a lot of the bonuses from the champion ascendancy that add like stuff while they're taunted. So that's really nice that they'll technically be taunted, so they'll take more damage and stuff. That's great. This is primarily to enable new ascendancy passive skills in the champion ascendancy. The Shaper, Elder, Guardian, all the Guardians, the Eradicator, Enslaver, Purifier, Constrictor. So that's pretty nice. I think farming a lot of these bosses, the Guardians, I don't think will be too hard, but in order to kill the Shaper and Elder, well, the Shaper especially in the final Elder, might take a lot more DPS than what I can output without getting some insane gear. But it's nice to know that that taunt from the champion will affect them, so I can get those bonuses. Malagaro and his map equivalents, as well as Alira's map equivalents, now use a new version of Detonate Dead, which explodes all corpses in an area after a delay. That's really cool because, you know, maybe you don't have to be as scared as them anymore. Hopefully it'll show like some kind of thing like, hey, Detonate Dead's on these guys, you better get the heck out of there. You know, instead of just walking in and bam, you're instantly dead from Detonate Dead. Avarius Reassembled now has 20% more life. Oh, here we go. The Onigarashi version of Hillock has more life, deals more damage, and has learned a new trick. Man, I really want to farm for the sword just to see him, because I thought, getting choked up. I thought that his fight was already pretty cool. You know, he looked cool with like the glowing sword in him, and then he like pull it out. And he already had a little more life and more damage, although the more life and damage was negligible. But hey, anyway, I kind of want to see that, so I'll probably do that sometime during this season just to try. You know, I don't really care about getting the sword because I have a ton of them, but I think it would be cool to just see the new Hillock fight. So female ghosts have been seen roaming the haunted halls of Orioth alongside their male counterparts. The damage and attack speed of the male ghost has been adjusted. Duresso's spinning swords now play an effect when they appear and disappear, making it easier to see them. That's really good. Those stupid swords always pop up and like right on top of you and you don't see them. Kitava's heart in the Elder in his unstable phase could no longer be slowed below their base speed. This was causing issues with animations playing out of sync with their actions. Piety now deals 33% less damage with her melee attack in the belly of the beast. Her cleave damage has been increased slightly. Adjusted the cooldown on the Gazing Taurus Sunder S skill. It is now considered an attack rather than a spell for mitigation purposes. Bombeth Shifting Darkness now better signals when he is using his Vol Detonate Dead skill. This skill now radiates outward from a set distance rather than along all corpses connected to his target. The mongrels found in Act 8 can now be desecrated. They have also been renamed to Ruin Hellions. Following monsters have had their base life increased. Chaos Golem, Arctic Golem, basically all the golems, and unearthly skeletons. Dominus and his map variants are now less likely to skip their audio cues for Touch of God and Light of Divinity. That's good, because sometimes those would go off without him actually saying, you know, a touch of God. The Elder Encounter Balance. Xena now appears to provide protection much closer to the Elder upon defeating it. It should be much harder to miss her now. And her dialogue's shown in the chat window. The portal phase is now shorter but more difficult, spawning more minions in a shorter period of time and using more skills. The minions spawned during this phase target the Shaper more aggressively. The Elder's unstable phase is now more difficult and can drop more Elder items if successfully completed. This is now the only way to obtain the Watcher's Eye unique jewel. So you have to kill him during the unstable phase. The Elder's you have to complete the unstable phase. The Elder's expanding circles during his unstable phase now deal the same amount of damage as the ones in the earlier phase of the fight. This was an oversight. As a result, this skill deals 70% more damage than previously during the unstable phase. The Elder's growing Doom Circle is now removed when Xena appears. That's great, because that was dumb that circle would be expanding when Xena appeared, and you'd be like, oh crap, now I have to stand, like I have to take some damage and stand in this dumb circle, or you would have to try to move to the center of the Doom Circle and then move back to Xena real quick. It was crazy. Alright, map and atlas balance. We already know about the sextants. You can only have a max of 5 after completing some quests. The base is 1 sextant. You are now twice as likely to obtain maps you have not yet completed in the atlas as maps you have. This is intended to help players who choose to play solo complete their atlas. Made changes to how map selection occurs when choosing which maps contain the Elder and his guardians. As a result of this change, it will be easier on average to encounter the Elder on higher tier maps. Maps that contain the Elder no longer contain additional monsters or provide Elder rare items from monsters other than the Elder. Wow. That's kind of crazy. So on an Elder map, there's no longer going to be any additional monsters or provide Elder rare items from monsters other than the Elder. Wow. Be a little harder to get Elder items. Well, I mean, there is the end Elder fight, I guess, but still. Are the Shaper maps still going to have... So it'll be easy to get Shaper items, but harder to get... I don't know, that's weird. The change in how monster rarity affects damage increases has resulted in changes to the Savage and Overlord map prefixes, as well as Death and Taxes map mods. These changes can be obtained on existing items by using a Divine Orb. Mini-maps have undergone monster density changes to bring them closer in line with each other. So that's good, I guess. The Shaper's Ultimate Chaos Bullet Hell skill now deals 70% less damage to minions. So it'll be easier to farm Shaper with minions. The boss in the Death and Taxes unique map deals less damage with his melee attack and should be significantly less likely to one-shot you after transforming. Good. This right here is one of the big ones. The treasure piles in the vault map boss encounter and the boss itself now drop fewer items. The run should now drop a quantity of items similar to other maps of the same tier, whereas previously it was significantly more. Peruna the Challenger now signals when it's casting a skill more clearly. The Enslaver's Slam ability now deals more physical damage relative to fire damage, and always applies Ignite. The boss encounter in the Desert Spring map now has 2 unique scorpion enemies during the pursuit phase of the encounter. This phase also now has a Amphoris for players to bust open. Defeating the boss now enables portals into and out of the boss room. That's good. Improve the layouts of the scriptorium and excavation maps. There should be fewer dead ends. Thank you. The armory map is now more linear and should contain fewer dead ends as well. Moved monsters a little further away from the entry point of the lookout maps. Decrease the size of the burrows map. The Vessel of the Vol sub-bosses in the Atziri areas can no longer submerge immediately upon activating unless you are very far away. The Orchard map boss room has been redesigned and now has labyrinth traps in it, which the Visions of Justice will try to teleport you onto. Great. The Orchard and Plaza map bosses now disable all the traps in their rooms when they die. Their magic packs have been moved to outside of the boss room. Grandmasters in the Hall of Grandmasters now generate 2 Vol souls per second, up from 1 soul per 5 seconds. Passive skill tree balance. The Acrobatics Keystone now grants 30% less energy shield, down from 50% less energy shield. This will be better for hybrids. Passive skills which increase physical damage by staves or wands or damage dealt by wands now also increase the damage of ailments caused by those weapons as well. This brings them in line with the other weapons passives. And of course, all the ascendancies have been reworked. I'm not going to go over these because we pretty much already looked at what all the new ascendancies are. I would recommend not reading through all this stuff and just going and looking at what the new ascendancies offer. Basically, it's a bunch of... Basically, power creep is all it is. They've changed a bunch of stuff, so... I kind of skimmed through this earlier, and I don't think there's anything really new. Although the Ascendant one is very impressive. Look how long that is. Like, I figured Ascendant was going to have to be huge to change all the, make all the changes compared to what the top ones were, so, yeah. Alright, so the Xena League mods that'll be available is Onslaught, Bloodlines, Torment, Fortune Favors the Brave. I really like that one, just like a, taking a random one. Nemesis, Beyond, Perandus. I kind of want to just do a bunch of Perandus for fun. I don't know if it's worth 5 Chaos Orbs to keep doing Perandus though, but I really liked the Perandus League, man. That was one of my favorite leagues. So maybe I'll just do a bunch of Perandus this league. Or Harbinger. I really like the Harbinger League too. That'll be level 8 Xena. So maybe once I hit level 7, I'll do a bunch of Perandus until I get Xena to level 8, and then I'll just do a bunch of Harbinger maybe. I don't know. Should be a fun league anyway with the new beastie stuff. World changes. You can now enter the control blocks in Act 10. I kind of hate that they made Act 10 bigger. I kind of like that Act 10 was just like get in, get out basically. There was a couple other off areas you went to, but for the most part, Act 10 was relatively short, which I really liked. Because by the time I get to Act 10, I'm just like, Jesus, let's just get this over with already, So, the Weaver's boss room in Act 2 is now smaller. It's now more difficult to avoid spawning spiders. That kind of sucks. I hate those stupid spawning spiders in that room. Rework the layout of the Harvest in Act 4. It now has fewer dead ends. That's kind of awesome. I wish the fight in Act 9 or whatever, where you go down to fight the 3 guys when you talk to Sin, I wish they would put a stinking waypoint there, because I hate walking through that whole area. There's tons of dead ends, and then you finally get to Sin, and then my game would crash, and I'd have to run through all that again in order to get back to killing the last 3 bosses. It was ridiculous. So all versions of the crypt in Act 7 now contain the Bundle of Woe unique monster. Disabled the ability to click on Willem's ship from the Brine King's Reef to travel back to the beacon. You can still talk to Willem to return to the beacon. This was to prevent accidental back travel. The Mountain Hounds have been renamed. Basically, a bunch of stuff has just been renamed. The Mongrels have been renamed to the Ruins of Hellions. This is basically all these renames. I think that's what all this is. All of this has just been renamed to help with the Bestiary League. To help capture different things. Like you can see, tentacle versions of the Goatmen, Roas, everything are now called Elder Blessed. Goatmen that generate endurance charges are called Goatmen Stompers. Hellions with parasites are called Enslaved Hellions. The crustacean snipers that do not deal cold damage are called Rock Spitters. The ones with the swishy tails are called Crustacean Pelters. And the ones that do cold damage are now called Deep Crustaceans. Crypt Weavers that can flicker strike are called Crypt Ambushers. The croaking chimeras are now called Chimera Croakers. All other frog-like chimeras are also now some variant of the croaker, so depending on what they do. Sand leapers that don't leap are called Sand Skitterers. The rooster demons that can viper strike are called Rooster Fiends. That sounds like Lister Fiend. What's that from? Lister Fiend. Is that from Clerks? Is that from Clerks 2? Lister Fiend. Rooster Fiends. The unique beast in the Chimera Guardian fight have been renamed to differentiate them from skills granted by bestiary unique items. The Aryan Act 9's rotting core with sin is now called the Black Core. I wish after this they would put, and we put a waypoint here, so once you get there, you can get back there easily. God, I hate that. Anyway, the Twisted Inquisitorium Vol side area now resembles a Crimson Temple map visually. Prophecies added 27 new prophecies for Fated Uniques. These prophecies have no voice acting. The Deadly Twins prophecy will no longer be consumed by maps whose bosses have been slayed by the Elder or Guardian. Clarified the description of the Thaumaturgical History 2, indicated it only triggers in Act 2. PvP balance lowered the T override of Scorching Ray by 1.5 seconds. Note that this affects the Hall of Grandmasters as it takes PvP scaling into account. A ton of bug fixes. Fixed instances of mismatched text and audio between the Shaper and Xena. Fixed a bug where mods with augmented a map boss would apply Elder Guardian and Elder maps despite there being no boss. Fixed a bug where sextants that guarantee a Forsaken Master would be consumed on Elder and Elder Guardian maps even though no Master could appear. The beginner's luck achievement description no longer references normal difficulty. Ooh. Fixed a bug where Zaro cursed pylons would stay. They cast an empowered curse on death in the cruel labyrinth when they would not. Fixed a bug where Zaro's cursed pylons would still use old vulnerability curse when casting their empowered vulnerability. Fixed a bug which prevented spell cascade from properly supporting the punishment curse. Fixed a typo between the flavored text for the dig map as spoken and as written. Fixed a bug where the bone recoil debuff from the Necropolis map boss was mistakenly displayed as a buff. Fixed the bug where placing a trap or totem linked with Stormcall, which has had its skill duration reduced to 0, would cause a client crash. Fixed a bug where some bosses in Shaper influenced maps could be fought before triggering the Shaper event, resulting in weird behavior. Fixed a bug where Fairgraves would attack you during his dialogue. Fixed a bug on DX9 clients where dragging a maximized window client would cause the client to crash. Caused a bug where the Parandus Manor would display incorrectly in the map stash tab. Fixed a bug where when removing maps from the map stash tab and swapping the tab to a new series, the substashes you just removed maps from would be visible but unusable. Fixed the bug where disabling chat timestamps would cause previous chat window text to turn white. Fixed the bug where unique items linked in chat would lose those italics and their flavor text if you closed it and then reopened the chat window. Fixed the bug where flask timer displays for hybrid flask could disappear too early if either the mana or life recovery part ended prematurely. Fixed the bug where changing your support gems linked to a totem skill and a weapon while a totem was active would kill the totem. Oh. Fixed the bug where the unique body armor, the Combing Calamity, was incorrectly snapshotting the reservation cost of Herald skills. Fixed the bug where the Vol Rain of Arrows and Bear Trap were able to stop players with the movement speed cannot be modified below base value stat. Fixed the bug where your specters could vanish after a PvP battle. Wow. Fix a bug which caused the Scion to not splash as frequently as other characters as she ran through water. Oh man, she was like being like Jesus Scion. Just walking on top of the water. Fix the bug where the Mirage Archer entity could taunt enemies. Fix the bug where the boss room from the Ashen Wood map could generate outside of the boundaries of the area. Fixed the bug where the Elder could spawn more minions after Xena had appeared. Fixed the bug where Stygian Spires could spawn too few monsters from the abysses they create. Fixed the bug where one of the Abyss Liches was using the visual effect of the other when opening doors. Fixed the bug where you could accidentally get yourself stuck in the factory boss room with movement skills. Fixed the bug where the Unbearable Whispers 5 prophecy would change an area's lighting under weird conditions. Fixed the bug where the Shaper's life in the Elder encounter would scale with extra party members. Fixed the bug where player auras could affect the Shaper in the Elder encounter. Huh. That's kind of crazy. Fixed the bug where it could become impossible to access the boss room in the ghetto map without a movement skill. Fixed a couple of map generation bugs that could result in weird 180-degree turns to get into the boss room. Fixed the bug where you could use any sort of fragment, including Shaper Guardian fragments, for the Vol Orb vendor recipe, rather than just the Vol fragments as intended. Wow. Fixed the bug where, for the sake of DPS calculations when dual wielding, the two attack speeds were averaged as opposed to using the attack duration. This would throw the calculation off, especially in cases where two weapons had wildly different attack speeds. Fixed a bug which could cause your map stash to become unusable. Fixed an overlapping display issue where your chat window and social pages were both open and you attempted to edit a note. Fixed the bug where you could permanently benefit from the Storm Barriers buff if you were stunned while channeling. Fixed the bug which caused the Elder tentacles to change color based on the player's proximity to them. Wow. Fixed the bug where the Shrine to Akarilli in Vol City could be inaccessible. Fixed the bug where the bosses of the Plateau map would sometimes not level up correctly. Fixed the bug where witches and shadows wearing Gritchu's pelt could basically turn to stretchy, nightmarish living taffy. Wow. Fixed the bug where some skill effects in boss fights would linger if you had left and re-entered the instance. Fixed the bug where the Northern Forest in Act 7 could sometimes contain a Vol side area that you couldn't interact with. Fixed up many inconsistencies, inaccuracies, and ambiguities in item and skill gem descriptions. And they fixed an instance crash. We hope you enjoy the Bestiary League and Content Update 3.2.0. Thank you so much for your support. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This is just the recent changes. We've already seen all these. But yeah, that's the patch notes. Some good stuff, some okay stuff. Seems pretty decent to me. Nothing too game breaking, I don't think. So yeah, some nice ascendancy changes. I'm sure you've all already looked over all the pictures of the new ascendancies. Pretty much just a bunch of stuff getting buffed, so they look really good. Um, I've been kind of deciding whether I want to play Marauder or Duelist. I think with the patch note changes, I'm probably going to go Duelist. I'll release a video about that later once I kind of figure out what I'm doing. I'll let you guys know and post a video about that, as well as a video of other builds that I think will be good. Starting the new league, so that way you guys can decide over the next day or two before the league starts what you want to do. So yeah, make sure if you like the video, you hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, make sure to post in the comment sections. Don't be afraid to say hi. And yeah, that's it. And I will see you guys later.